And welcome back into Illini Drive on WPGU 107.1. And we're going to waste no time at all here, jump right to the phone lines. We are very excited to welcome Gail Gaeng to the show. She just got back from Rio, where she won, or was a part of a team that won a gold medal for the Paralympic U.S. women's team in wheelchair basketball. Gail, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. Good to be back on U.S. soil and good to talk to some fellow Illini.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for bringing back a gold medal. And let's just jump right into this. I mean, I don't know how else to ask this, but how cool was the whole experience? Just being in Rio and just all the buzz that comes with that, and then to go and actually win gold. What was that like? Can you even put it into words?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hard for me to put it into words, but I think the whole experience itself was kind of unbelievable. I mean, just being able to be there and representing my country, and being at the top, the highest level of wheelchair basketball in itself is a pretty cool thing. But being able to go there, have that much pressure on us for to win gold, and then to be able to do so in pretty good fashion and bring it home is something I'll never forget.
Gail, we talked to your coach, actually, Stephanie Wheeler, on Friday on the show, and she was talking about what it meant to win as a coach. She's got significant Paralympic experience. But did that sort of make, just on like a comfort level, did that sort of make the experience a little bit easier that you had, someone so familiar leading your team?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Steph for 5 years now, so being able to see her and have open dialogue with her as a co-captain, I think it helped out both comfortability level on both sides. So she was comfortable with me being able to kind of push down all of the communication and kind of be the liaison between coaching staff and athletes, and then as a player myself, it was pretty awesome to have someone that has kind of seen my whole journey and my evolution as a basketball player to be there for the top and high level of the Paralympics.
Gail, speaking of your evolution as a basketball player, winning gold by itself is a pretty big achievement for the sport. Moving forward, sticking to the sport as well, where do you see yourself moving within basketball now that the Olympics are behind us and maybe 4 more years ahead is still quite a long way away?
Yeah, so I'm hoping to join a championship division league, which is the top league in the U.S. right now. So I'm hoping to join a team, whether it be in Chicago where I find a job or back on the East Coast from where I'm from. So I think I'm definitely going to stick with it for a few years. 4 years is a long time, like you said. So I don't know my future 100%, but I mean, I'm definitely not ruling out Tokyo.
Hey, Gail, this is Ryan Wilson. Thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. So I guess this was kind of a 3-year process to get this most recent Rio wheelchair basketball team together. How impatient do you get, just waiting that long to be in Rio and finally competing?
Yeah, I mean, the whole process, the 3-year process, as you spoke about, was pretty hard, especially in the beginning, because we were such a young team, and we had to make sure that our end goal was Rio. We couldn't set our sights too early and kind of plateau out. We had to keep getting better each year and each tournament we played. And then just getting to Rio, we got there the first day the village was open. So we had about a week and about 9 days, I think, before our first game. And so just that process, just being in Rio, all you wanted to do was just start playing. So that whole week of just practicing it and no games was definitely one of the hardest things to do.
We're talking with Gail Gaeng here on WPGU 107.1. She just won a Paralympic gold medal for the women's wheelchair basketball team in Rio, but she's now back on U.S. soil. And Gail, while you were there, obviously you talked about being in the village. I'm sure you met people from all sorts of different countries. Who were some of the most interesting people for you to meet? Was there any countries that were particularly memorable?
Yeah, I think the Brazilians. I think just being in Rio, you can tell how much or how sports matter so much to the Brazilian culture. All of our games are pretty much sold out, packed houses, whether they knew kind of what wheelchair basketball was about or not. They were just sports fans. And we actually got to play Brazil in the quarterfinals. So being able to play Brazil in a knockout game in their home country. You kind of just felt the electricity and you felt the vibe, and it was kind of an unforgettable moment, and I think that'll definitely stay with us for a while.
Gail, like I mentioned, we had Steph on the other day, and she was talking about the McDonald's, eating all the McDonald's that went on. After 3 years of, like, seriously prepping your body and, you know, like, the training you go through, I mean, that's got to be a little ridiculous to go and eat McDonald's in the biggest sporting event of your life, right?
Yeah, I think the food was a little... I mean, it wasn't on the best end of things, so I think there's some teammates of mine who kind of just wanted something to feel full, and so you would eat a little bit, and then obviously afterwards people would always go get the burgers and stuff after they finished their competition. I got some ice cream just to celebrate it, but nothing to the extent of, I think, what everyone else is hearing about.
Gail, I like sports, and I like watching and playing sports, but I know that I'm never going to get myself a gold medal. But I know that you now have one, and not that I'm going to try and take it from you or anything, but I'm just curious, what do you do with a gold medal now that you've won it and you have one in your possession?
I'm sleeping with it. No, I'm kidding. I actually just have it in my room right now. I know it's kind of lame. I wore it a lot in Rio when we were still down there, and then wore it on the way home. But, you know, I'm getting to share it with my family and friends who helped me along the way. So I'll bring it out when anyone asks about it. But I don't think I'm definitely not just sitting on my couch with it watching TV.
Well, Gail, enjoy it, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Go Illini.
Hey, there it is. We can't say that because we're ethical, unbiased journalists, but I'm happy for the university that she was able to bring back the gold. Pretty cool story. I mean, that was a lot of fun to talk to her. That was Gail Gaeng. She won a Paralympic gold medal.
You almost said Pulitzer Prize there, didn't you?
I don't think so. Gold medal for the U.S. women's wheelchair basketball team, and that was really cool. I mean, you could just tell, even through the phone, how happy she was talking about that. That was awesome.
It's also just like, I know it's not supposed to, you know, it's sort of irrational to feel this way, but someone your age winning a gold medal, and you're just like, I'm just sitting around, talking about it, you know, in the studio here. I don't know. It's very humbling, I guess, is a good way of putting it. It's like that someone your age or even younger, you know, when you see whether it is in like the World Cup, the Euro soccer tournament was this summer, World Cup of hockey, any sort of big international competition, Olympics, Paralympics like that, and people your age, younger than you, are doing that kind of stuff. It's very, it can be very, I think it's very humbling. I mean, you're really excited because it's like, imagine what it would be like to be in that situation, but it's also very, wow, you know, the work it must have taken to get there is immense.
Well, the question that Ryan asked about having to wait all that time is really interesting. I mean, for any other sport, you have, and they do have annual seasons every, you know, obviously if you're, whether you're a runner or whatever Olympic event you're in, gymnastics, you're competing every year the same. So I think it's super interesting. Like the NFL, you get a big time season every single year, 16 games to lay it on the line.
The same way.
Yeah, every season, MLB, whatever, NHL. But for Olympians, it's you're competing year round for 4 years, but every 4 years you got that one chance where you got to lay it all on the line, and for them, they were heavy favorites to win. There's a lot of pressure involved in that, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's some people would say, well, of course they're going to win, whatever. But to actually then get it done when you're expected to win, I think is difficult. So I can't imagine the amount of anticipation is what I'm getting at.
I liked hearing Gail's story on the quarterfinal game that they played against the Brazilian team.
Yeah, that's really neat.
What that environment must have been like to play in front of, you know, the native Brazilian crowd, going crazy behind their team as they're watching the favorites of the USA probably beat them, but I'm not too sure what that score was. But just an incredible experience, I'm sure, to be down there in Rio at the Olympic Village with a bunch of other countries from all around the world. I couldn't imagine anything else like it.
Yeah, I love, my favorite part of the whole month and a half of Olympics and Paralympics was the just total passion of the Brazilian fans. I mean, there was, in particular, stands out to me was the men's beach volleyball final in the Olympics, and the Brazilian men were winning, and they ended up winning the gold. and it started raining, and then it just started pouring. And these
when it
Brazilians,
rains, it pours.
Well, on Maracana Beach, right, or whatever, Copacabana Beach, excuse me. And they're going crazy for every point, and everyone is soaked, and they're just like, you could just see like when they score a point, and the crowd reacts like water flies out.
That's awesome,
everyone,
yeah.
And it was just one of those like, you're there, you're Brazilian, you never forget that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Even if you're not the one with the gold medal, like, it's just awesome. It's awesome to watch. Like, the fact that you can watch that from a couple thousand miles away on TV and, like, feel that kind of energy.